Hey everybody, welcome back to Family Firearm Reviews. Kyle here, and today we're going to take a little tabletop look at the BRG 9 Elite. Now this is a Turkish clone, and when we get down into it, you'll see it's kind of like something that we all know and a lot of us do like, is the Springfield XD. Now, there's a lot of great features with this gun. It is a striker-fired firearm, 4-inch barrel, but it comes with all this stuff and for a really great price. I've seen these anywhere from $219 all the way up to $400. I picked this one up for $237 out the door with everything here. So let's get down in and check it out. So now we're down on the table. We've got our BRG 9 Elite right here. And you can see it's labeled on the back with this little sticker. We've got the 4-inch. It's the all black one. I know they make 2 other colors, so you could check those out. I think they're a little bit more expensive. But like I said, this one you get anywhere from the $400 all the way down. I think I picked this one up $219. Out the door was $237 with tax and stuff for me. So if I take it here and I open it up, we've got a pretty nice kit. Right? So if we look in this top section up here, we've got a cloth that we can wipe the gun down with. It does come with its own oil. It's very nicely put in here. Everything is very tightly packed. Some pretty thick oil in there, some gun oil for the firearm. We do have a trigger lock instead of your standard gun lock. We have a brush to kind of clean out anywhere. We have our mop. We have a softer brush, and then we have our more aggressive brush in there for cleaning the firearm. Now, it does not come with a manual. You'll have to go and download their manual. So if they want to make updates, which would be kind of cool, they can just make them online. If you need something, you could go download one, look it up. You can even get it on your phone. You just go to their website. There's also a little warranty here. Within 30 days of purchase, you go here, you can register your firearm, and you can get yourself a little warranty. Now we get to the bottom of the case. It comes with a mag reloader. We've got 2 back straps, and they are labeled. This is the small, this is the large, so the medium's on the firearm right here. And they just have a little pin here. Drive those out, and you're able to slide these on and change those out. They've got a little bit of texture, but not a ton on the back of those. So you've got some changeability for that firearm to make it more comfortable for you. You do get 2 16-round metal magazines, and they're marked, all the way down 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know when you're all the way full or when you only have 1 or 2 rounds. Some stop right here at that 4 and 5 mark. So that's kind of a nice little feature, and they are all metal, which is a really, really good feature. A little good bang for your buck. So now we'll pull the firearm out. We'll drop that mag. That's additional mag right there. So it does come with just 2 magazines. We'll lock it back, ensure that she's clear. And now we're going to start taking a little tour around the firearm. So with our BRG 9 Elite, you are getting that 4-inch barrel. You're getting an overall length of 7.4 inches. You're getting an overall height right here of 5.5 inches and an overall width right here of 1.4 inches. Now they're saying these are running around 30 ounces, so it does seem to be kind of a heavier firearm. Now it does have an ambi mag release, as we can see right here. It's a circle and one right here. So those mags come out of there nice and easy. We can lock that slide back. We do not have an ambi slide lock though. So your slide lock, slide release is only going to be set up for that right-handed individual. Now what this kind of looks like to me is an XD clone. So a Springfield XD has a lot of these similar features. We do have the rear safety here where we can squeeze into that firearm before the trigger goes off. We kind of have a flat bar trigger, and then we do have a safety in that trigger. It's a generous trigger guard here, so you can easily get your finger in there even if you're wearing gloves or anything like that. Again, it comes with those 3 back straps, and you can see right here, the mag well is actually nice because the back strap fills up that hole. A lot of other firearms we have, there's kind of maybe a hole back there, and you can see it's pretty generous and tapered to funnel that mag right inside of your grip. It's a very comfortable gun. It fits nicely in your hand. So if we're going to go over that, how it fits, as you can see there, it's a nice comfortable fit in your hand. We do have a small groove here kind of for your thumb. We do have those kind of old Glock reminiscent finger grooves here with a little bit of texture on each one, but not a ton of texture, and these aren't so obnoxious that they're really going to bother you. Now on the side, we've got a little bit of grip, but nothing really. It's kind of actually pretty slick. And then we have that little bit of bumpy texture on the rear of the firearm, but nothing real aggressive all around. Kind of, maybe could use a Talon grip or something like that to throw on this to really beef it up for us. Now, as we go up the gun some more, we've got front and rear slide serrations, and they are very deep, very aggressive. They're easy to grab a hold of. You can really pull back on that firearm and get a good purchase. So if you're going to press check or things like that, it's easy for you to do. If you're going to rack the firearm, it's very easy to grasp that and really get a good hold on this firearm. Now the pick rail, you're missing one of the little slots. So we do have a pretty normal size pick rail, but we do only have two little ticks there, which may limit what you can run. And I've got some lights here we're going to try to put on here and see if they fit well on this firearm. Now the finish is actually really nice. It's got a nice black finish on it. It seems like it took some real good care with the firearm when they did that finish. And we do have a decent set of sights. You do have two white dots in the rear, and you have a red dot in the front, or an orange red dot in the front. I guess it's more orange than red. But we've got that nice dot. It's very easy to get a hold of that firearm and acquire that sight picture pretty quickly. The trigger guard does also slope down, and you do have a little bit of texturing on the front of that trigger guard. So I don't know if that's really going to be great, because then you're not going to be able to get something maybe all the way butted up against that. So we'll have to see how things fit on the front of this firearm as we go through it. Now, if we rack that slide back, we can see we've got a metal captured recoil spring and a pretty nice barrel. It feels like there's a little taper here. If you look and rub, there's a little taper on the barrel where it gets skinnier up to wider. So maybe that acts like a bushing with the firearm. Now, these are actually made out of 4340 steel, the slide in the barrel, instead of the 40, I think the regular guns are made out of the 4130 steel. So it's actually a more solid firearm. It's stronger steel and more resistant to corrosion. So wear on this gun should be pretty good when you're running lots and lots of rounds through it. Now, if we want to kind of dive a little deeper, it has a takedown very similar to your P320s or your M18s, M17s, whatever you're familiar with. We can lock that slide back, and then we just rotate this down. Has the same style of path. And then what we do, go forward, depress that trigger. And then I've always found that it's a little easier to squeeze that trigger as we're taking it apart. Now, if we get to the lower, you can see the rails are real beefy. It has a very thick set of rails in the front and the rear. They are metal rails. So that's going to give you a lot of real estate to slide this firearm on when that slide's cycling back and forth. So I think that's a value add right there. It's pretty beefy. That's a nice little set of rails, to tell you the truth. We have the bar where you can disassemble the firearm, where it rolls back and forth. You can see your trigger grouping. You can see your slide stop, slide release. And the one thing I did want to notice is the mag release. So the mag release isn't your typical slit on the side of the mag. It actually works from the little U in the front of the mag. So I'm going to grab a mag real quick and show you that. So the mag actually locks into the firearm right here. So it doesn't have the typical slits in the side. So as it depresses and releases, it's actually depressed and released right there in the middle of that firearm. If we get it in there and you can see that mag in there, it sits very nicely in that firearm. It's a nice fit and finish. You do have a little bit of space here. Nothing really to strip it out though if the mag was in there and ever were to get stuck. You do have a little base plate there to grip onto, a little bit in the front, maybe if you gripped it like that. I think that might be pretty good, but you don't have any stripping cutouts or anything like that, like other firearms we have out there. So now if we get up to the slide, we have a pretty big recoil spring. It's a dual recoil spring here, if I can get it out. Pretty good little size. And it's got a very large pad on the rear here where it fits into the firearm. We'll pull our barrel out. We've got a nice barrel. It's serialized, coming from Turkey. That's a really nicely polished feed ram. So it looks like the bullets will be able to slide right in there. We chamber them in there. Some nice rifling down that. And there is a little cut in the top here for a weight reduction. You can see all your hammers and your safety there. It's a pretty nice slide, especially for the price. Very heavy, very well made. Now it came pretty oily, I'll tell you that. I haven't shot this yet, I just brought it home, but I've got oil all over my hand, so it is very oiled when it does come to you. You've got a little B here for BRG on the top of the barrel, kind of a little monogram. And there is a little flare to that barrel, if you guys can see that right here. There's a little flare right there that might act as a little bushing for this firearm. But it's your typical tilting firearm, or tilting barrel firearm. Easy to put back. It looks like they're both circles, so we don't have to worry about direction. No flat spots like some firearms have. And we're able to reassemble this. Same way, goes back together nice and easy. Push that forward, release our slide stop, and we're already back and ready to go. So with that, we're gonna get on the trigger. It does have a dual safety, right? So we have to depress our rear safety here, and then we have to squeeze the trigger. That's not too bad of a trigger. Can lift up, a little bit of take up till it resets. A little bit of mush right there after you get on that take up, and then you're back on that firearm. Now this does have a striker indicator in the rear, as you see right here. When it is cocked and locked, you can see we have our indicator that sticks out. When we fire the firearm, it goes away, and then you know that it is not cocked and that your striker is not ready to go. It does have a chamber indicator right here on the top of the firearm. So if there was a round in the chamber, this is going to pop up very small, very briefly, and you'll be able to see if there is a round in the chamber just by looking at the top. You don't have to turn it to the side and try to look for a brass cut. So that is a nice feature with this firearm. Now I'm going to grab our lights here, and I've got my quick detach X300 Ultra, and what we're going to do is try to see how it fits on the firearm. So if we just slide it back there, it's all the way against the trigger. Oh, I can't get it to lock in. So that's something that you're going to have to deal with there. We are not able to run an X300 Ultra on this firearm. I cannot get my rail to fully click in there. So that angled trigger guard isn't allowing this to get back far enough to fully seat itself. It'll get on there, and then it's not quite engaging that cut. It's just a hair too much for me to get it on there. So now I have a little bit of a cheaper of my budget version here. I've got my UTG light right here. I do need a screwdriver for this, so we'll back that off a little bit. We'll see if this works. Now this is a little bit more flat. It's a little bit smaller of a flashlight. The controls don't stick out quite as far. And then the locking point on this one is way out front, where this one's more towards the middle. So let's see if this works. I think that'll work. Oh yeah. So you can get this one to seat in there. Let's tighten it up and see if it fits. My trusty dusty range screwdriver. It's always good to have a little screwdriver in your bag. So that one does fit. It does work on the firearm. You can get it on there. But you're going to have to think about that when you purchase it, what kind of light or laser you're going to want to put on there. So that's definitely something to consider when you do have, you know, a budget firearm. What's going to fit on it, what's going to fit on it properly, and what's going to work. So that is a little bit of a downside here. Now, the other thing I noticed is they do sell mags on their website, right? BDR sells them for $32, or BRG, sorry. It's the Buffalo Cartridge Company, but if you Google it, they have mags on their website, and they also have an outside the waistband holster for this. It's very Springfield XD-ish, so I think maybe we could find some compatibility there. I know there's Tisson or Tisson, however you say it. They have mags that are supposedly compatible with this, but I also heard that the regular Springfield XD mags were compatible, so I went to the store. I picked up an XD 9mm. This is for the XD 516 service model tactical 16 round high capacity mag. So you know what we've got here, and let's see if it fits. The big thing is it does have that cut, so I think this might work, but if I'm looking at them now, this one's a little more squared off at the top than this one. You can see how that one tapers in, but these are supposed to work. So 16 rounds also. Well, it locks in, locks the slide back. So it looks like if you pick one of these up, you can go buy some of the Springfield XD magazines, just the regular XDs. I picked up the 16 rounder. I'm not sure if the 15 rounder would fit, but they do make a 15. That's just, we had the 16 rounder at the local gun store. So that's nice. Pick these up. These are around, I don't know, anywhere from 25, 30 bucks to pick up one of these mags. And you're definitely going to be able to see the difference. This one's stamped all the way from 2 down. This one doesn't start till 5. So you are losing some of that capability. The base plates are smaller on these, but they seat all the way in and there's not much of a gap. All right, so it's pretty good lock. Little less beef on the bottom of the magazine, but you can definitely get that up in there. Now the standard mags that come with the firearm do clip in a lot easier. They feel less tight. This is definitely a tighter fit to get that up in there, but it is locking, it is engaging. It does allow the slide to function. It locks the slide back. So if you are using these out on the range, I think that'll work. Now this is made in Turkey again, but it's being brought to you by the Buffalo Cartridge Company out of Findlay, Ohio. So these are being imported and they're being sold in the US now. It's a pretty nice firearm for the price. Again, for $237 is what I was able to get this out the door at the store with my taxes, with my background check, right? I picked up this mag for an additional $25. So for 3 mags, under $300, I have a gun out there. I'm gonna have to try to find a holster. Again, getting these off the site, when I tried to buy some mags from the BRG site itself, they were out of stock. So the XD mags work, and the T-Son or the Tisson, however you say those, or T-Sauce, I believe it's T-Sauce. T-Sauce mags will work in this firearm. I did see that. So I think for the bang for your buck, this is definitely gonna be a nice gun. I think out on the range, that trigger is gonna be very nice. It's kind of crisp. It does have, as you can see right there, I've got a little bit of take up where I hit that wall and I push through and it breaks all the way back. Reset that trigger again. You can hear it click. It's a very tactile trigger and you're able to get right back on there. Downside, it's not optics cut or optics ready, but for a budget firearm, I wouldn't expect it to be. The sights aren't bad, but they are not true glow sights. They are not night sights. That front orange dot is nice and it's easy to get a clear picture. You do have a little play side to side with that, but it's really not that bad. And I feel for the price that this is really, if it performs well at the range, we're gonna take it out, do the 150 round review on it, see how it shoots. I think that as long as it shoots, that this is gonna be a nice little truck gun, a gun for a starter, someone who wanted to get the full kit, because remember it does come with all of those key components. It has a nice undercut to your trigger. It really feels comfortable in your hand. You've got a lot of room there for your secondary support hand when you're putting it there, stacking your thumbs. You've got your slide stop slide release, and you could ride that a little bit. It doesn't stick out too far. You can see if we look here, it's actually protected a little bit so you don't bump it. But these grooves, and it's in a really intuitive spot, you don't have to reach. So if I have my thumb here and I put my magazine in, it's easy for me to bump there and get my support hand right back where it needs to be. I've got a nice little pedal here with some texture. I could put my thumb. It really gives you a lot of features, a lot of bang for your buck. So we're here now with our BRG. We're gonna check the weight, right? So I do have it unloaded. I have one empty magazine. So we're gonna see what the empty weight would be. And they're saying it's around 30 ounces. So we're running 1 pound, 14 ounces, 0.1. So that's about 30 ounces, right? That's 30 ounces, just slightly over. Maybe that's all the extra oil they put on the gun. And then we're going to simulate a loaded firearm. So again, just so everybody knows, empty chamber, no magazine. Gonna put it on the scale. We're gonna put our 1 in the chamber. And then we're gonna take our full 16 round magazine, put it here. We're looking at 2 pounds, 5.1 ounces fully loaded. So that's not a super heavy firearm if you were gonna carry this. So this is, around a 7-inch firearm, a little bit bigger. So if you were gonna conceal carry this, it's not a super heavy weight. You could carry this all day if you really wanted to, but you would know it was there. It's not as light as some of the other concealed carry firearms we have out there. I think a Glock 19 is probably lighter than this, but it has some solid construction here, right? So we're gonna lock that slide back. We're gonna get this unloaded, get it back in the box. And this is with just Winchester white box. I've got a bulk box of that, 115. So that's the weight with that grain of bullet there. It may change depending on what kind of loads you have. So that's a good little dive into the BRG 9 Elite. Now that we're wrapped up doing our little tabletop discussion with our BRG 9 Elite, I hope you guys really liked it. I hope you found it, informational. I really thought this was a pretty cool little package. Nice gun. some serious features for a really budget price. I hope you guys check one out. I can't wait to get this out to the range this week and really get some rounds through it, get tested, feel the recoil. I want to try to find a holster for it too to see if there's a holster for it. But I mean, the fit and finish right now really just look pretty exquisite for $237. So I hope you guys come back, check out our next video. We do have some links below. Check out the other videos on our page, and we hope to see you guys back next time. See ya. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Comment below. We want to hear from you. Get more content from Family Firearm Reviews by joining our Patreon and checking out the links in the description.